Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Dawn Bates here with me today. How you doing, Dawn?
I'm really well. Thank you, Cedric. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just want to give everybody a heads up. Dawn is in the middle of a rainforest right now. And so, this is how we're doing it on America's Next Motivator. We're getting positive, inspirational people from around the world. And so because she is doing such amazing things in her life, she might cut out from time to time because she's in the middle of the rainforest, just being frank with you. Let's get straight into it. Dawn, why do you call yourself Miss Mermaid?
Well, it was a nickname given to me Mermaid was a nickname given to me when I was little because I'm always swimming, or I'm always in the bath, or I'm just like in the ocean or by the ocean. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of just stuck. And like when I swim, I go under the water and I kind of just stay there for quite a while. And people are like, where is she? Is she all right? Where was she gone? So yeah, and it kind of stuck. And then then when I set off around the world 3 years ago on this sailing expedition to research my next series of books, The Mermaid's Guide, I was stood in the kitchen and I was talking to my dog, and I was like, yeah, Dolphin's Guide doesn't The Mermaid's Guide. And then it's like, yeah, it's been my nickname forever. And then it was just like, and then a gentleman from America called me Miss Mermaid, and it kind of stuck because I quite like it how you American and Canadian men call us ma'am, or that's kind of nice. Yeah.
Thank
you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. How did you end up in the rainforest?
I just listened to soul. I was like, where am I going next? Oh, okay, I'm going there. Okay. But yeah, so it's the Atlantic rainforest in Brazil. So that's where I'm with you from at the moment. And it's quite big, so that doesn't actually give you my exact location. No one gets that.
Did you just get dropped off the way Bear Grylls does?
No, but no, he's just a bit too extreme for me. Some of the things he does, he's a bit scary. Mm-hmm. No, I started sailing around the world 3 years ago, and I was supposed to be in the Caribbean. I was supposed to have a boat. We were supposed to be doing a boat delivery to Martinique. But that didn't happen, and I just said, where am I supposed to go? What's my next trip? Mm-hmm. And within an hour, when I was just opening up my email, a trip to Chile dropped in, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where I'm going.
Wow.
Did the next qualification on my captaincy, made my way up through Patagonia, ended up in in December last year, I arrived in Chile, moved up through Patagonia, spent 7 months in total isolation in Buenos Aires, and then arrived in Brazil a while ago. I really probably should kind of consider leaving, actually. Mm-hmm. I'm running out of visa.
How did you create this lifestyle? Where are you from? Let's start there.
In this lifetime, I'm from the UK, and I grew up in a small village called Friday Bridge, which is the name of my first book. And there were about 200 people there, but my family and I were always down the beach. My dad was a beach fisherman, so we would always be down the beach, whatever weather. It was great. I loved it. I didn't like coarse fishing though, because he used to tell me to be quiet.
Yeah, talk to us about what it was like growing up there in the UK.
Well, my childhood, for me, I'm a farmer's daughter, so we would be running around fields and climbing trees in the orchards and, apple picking, strawberry picking. I'd be running in the field at the back of the garden, stealing all the asparagus, only to have the farmer go, "How many did you get this time?" I'm like, "Not enough."
Right.
You know, and then for me, it was just a normal childhood. I hardly ever watched TV, and the TV that I did watch would be Countdown, which was a puzzle. I did lots of reading. I was bullied at school because I was a nerd. I was teacher's pet because I just studied a lot, because I was the fat girl, you know, and when you're the fat one, you have to become funny. So, you know, that's kind of how you survive in school, or used to back then.
Right.
I was never really in a group of girls. I was always on the outside looking in, because I just didn't. Even now, like, I listen to some people's conversations, I'm like, oh God, because it's just, have you got nothing of depth to say? Have you got nothing? And it's not because I'm arrogant or anything. It's just, I want to have proper conversations. I want to discuss stuff that's really impacting the world. I want to discuss stuff and find solutions for some of the problems we've got. And staying back home where I grew up was just not there wasn't even a bookshop. I mean, seriously,
Wow.
how can, like, you know, what's happening there?
Did you ever find a community of people who were like you, who wanted substance in life? Did you ever find it there? Okay. So then what did you do? I mean, obviously middle school was more of the same.
See, I'm guessing middle school is high school, because we have primary school and senior school, or senior and high. So we don't really do the middle school bit. Like, so we do like 4 to 5 to age 11, and then 11 to like 16, and then you might stay for 2 years and do your A levels or go on to uni.
Okay.
So my senior years, yeah, like I said, I mean, I was bullied. I had my head smashed up against the brick wall of the maths block. And I was, yeah, she picked on the wrong person. You know, and I never found people. I mean, I've got 1 or 2 friends from back there, but I really didn't have anything in common with them. And I still don't. But it's quite interesting that since I've been living this life and created the success that I've created, you know, they all talk, "Oh yeah, I went to school with Dawnette. She was my friend." I was like, "I wasn't your friend.
Right.
You were one of the bullies. What are you on about?"
Right. You weren't my friend. You weren't my friend. Don't try to fix it up now.
Yeah.
As you graduated from high school or senior school, had you identified any problems in the world that you wanted to explore?
Oh God, I grew up in a really racist area of the UK. Absolutely. Like, you know, even my dad wouldn't eat foreign muck, and that would be like lasagna or spaghetti bolognese. It's like, what? You know, and I married, I mean, my only husband, I mean, we divorced 6-7 years ago, but I mean, he was an Arab. And so when I was with him, like, that was huge. I mean, he was, you know, the 2 questions I got asked were, "Oh, is he a rich oil baron? Oh, is he one of those Muslims?"
Wow.
And it'd be like, oh, you know, but there was only, you know, and part of it, I mean, I got bullied a little bit because I was friends with the only black girl in school, but then they realized how funny she was and how good at sports she was, and then they wanted her on a team. So there was a lot of racism, and I didn't like that. And I would make up my own languages and teach them to my sister.
Wow. What, I mean, did you think that you would end up addressing racism at some point in your life?
I would address bullying. I knew I was going to address bullying, and racism is a form of bullying. And racism is just, it's just stupid. It just shows a lack of ignorance. It's just a lack of intelligence. And, like, seriously, if I cut you, you still bleed. We still bleed the same color. And if I kick you, you will still bruise. You know, we all want to be safe, secure, and happy, and provide for our family. You know, the 6 basic human needs are all the same. And I remember years ago holding my ex-husband's hand and saying, "Gosh, you're really brown." He goes, "Well, hello, I'm an Arab." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I know, but like, you're really brown." because I'm really white, you know, well, I'm not so much now because I've been tanning, but you know, when you look at history and you start putting all the jigsaw pieces together, like, I just think we've been bullied for so long, and social justice is so out of whack, you know. And this is why, I mean, I'm doing a PhD in international law and social justice at the moment, and one of the theme of the books that I write is about people overcoming adversity and people taking on and dealing with the issues that we have in society, whether it is racism, whether it is socialism, whether it is, you know, people who think that because they've done really well that they can look down on other people. Whether it's because you become a statistic, like the guy that I just had a really not good relationship with. He should have been a statistic. He was put into the foster care system. I noticed you've got motivatefosterkids.com. You know, I've worked with so many foster kids and kids that, you know, are in the system. You know, and a lot of them just, like, they are dealing with the bullying that their parents went through. And, you know, it is so systemic. It is passed on to us from elitism and socialites, and the powers that be. And then we start to believe it, and then the media start reporting on it because they realize that they'll get more readers, and you know, and then this is why I say I'm not into mainstream media. I'm not really, you know, I go on the BBC quite a lot. I've made documentaries with Channel 4, but I don't, it's like, people will see my social media profile. When they see it, they can see that I've only got this part. I've got my body warmer pulled up across because it was a cold day. And I've had podcast owners and TV people say, we can't use that photo. I'm like, why? They're like, because we can't see your face. I'm like, so you're telling me that a Muslim woman who chooses to wear the niqab hasn't got anything valuable to say, and you're not going to have a Muslim woman wearing a niqab on your show? I don't want to be on your show. That's ignorant. Just because you can't see my face doesn't mean to say I haven't got anything valuable to say. Are you saying that somebody who, you know, and again, it's like, reverse that. So you're telling me that the listeners and the viewers can't pick up on something I'm saying? What if they're blind?
Right.
Are they not going to be able to pick up on anything valuable? They can't see me at all, but they're still going to be able to pick up on stuff. They're still going to be able to make a change in the world. They're still going to make a powerful difference. Let
me ask you something. Do you feel that we are going into a new age where people are growing out of some of the old ways of thinking? Like, we're growing, do you feel that we're growing out of racism, that we're growing out of certain types of ignorance, just as a result of being in an information age and age of spiritual enlightenment clear across the board?
I think we are. I do believe we are, actually, not think. I do believe we are, but I also think that you know, people have got to understand that when you're online and you say that you know, if you've got an online business, you've got to understand that you are global. Even to the point, like yesterday, there was a young lady that's in my space. You know, she said that she was charging dollars, and I messaged her privately and I said, is that American or Canadian, New Zealand? What kind of dollars are they? And then she forgets that, you know, she's seen throughout the world. I mean, I travel around the world all the time. I've been doing international global business for 22 years. And I do believe that people need to wake up. And even like, I did an interview recently, and I actually said that people keep going on about all this spiritualism and this intermittent fasting and all this geometric imagery that these spiritually enlightened quantum people are talking about. Fasting has been part of religion for 2,000 years. The Muslims, they fast during Ramadan. You know, if you look at all of the Islamic history and all the excuse me, Islamic art, it's all geometric, it's all symmetry. It's nothing new when you go back even further. But people are only looking at the now. They're only looking at, oh, it's trendy to be spiritual, it's trendy to do intermittent fasting, it's trendy to have these geometric shapes on there. People have got to do their research. Because for us to actually really step into this new age, and for us to actually really eradicate a lot of the bullying and a lot of the racism and the social problems, we've really got to be connecting the dots. And this is why I'm really glad that when I was younger, I used to do loads of jigsaws. You know, again, it's like, how did my mind work? I'm glad that I took drugs in my late teens and 20s, because my neural pathways were connected and the CBD receptors in my brain were stimulated, and where our body is designed to actually inject, to absorb THC, and CBD. Our body is designed for this natural plant. But again, people aren't connecting the dots. And then one of the things I always say to people is invest in a VPN. Because when you look at your virtual private network and you change where you are in the world, you'll be able to see how the news is being reported, and you'll be able to have access to different research. I'm an author. I write other people's books. I write a lot of articles in the business magazine, like House of Preeminence and MSP News Global. So I have to make sure that what I'm putting out there is correct. I do a lot of research. I am a geek, and I do go and have tea with Alice and the caterpillar and the white rabbit on a regular basis. But if we are really truly going to step in and eradicate a lot of this, people have got to step out of their ego and admit that they're wrong and do their research.
If we are honest, a lot of people are not going to go down the rabbit hole.
No, they're not.
But we can still provide something of value to people from the rabbit hole today in this hour on America's Next Motivator. What's one thing that you feel the world needs to know that maybe they don't know because they haven't done the research?
One thing.
we can start with one. Yeah, go ahead.
We need to stop believing in authority and start believing in ourselves.
Wow. Okay. What does that mean?
That means we are told that we don't have the skills, we don't have the knowledge, that we don't have, the capability, that we need X, Y, and Z. We're told that we don't have. Like, how many times are we told that our attention span is getting shorter? No, it's not. We give attention to the things that we feel are most important.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Someone like me, I write long posts on my Facebook. I'm an author. That's what I do. I write articles. People read them, and people watch movies for 2.5 hours. People will mindlessly look through TV. Their attention span, they're putting attention in that. So we do have the attention span. So you can learn. You are stronger than you're capable of to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. You do not have to be caught up in the system.
That's right.
When we start believing in ourselves, and we start believing in each other, and we start trusting each other and trusting ourselves, we realize really what is truly possible. And it's like, all these people that are being divided over whether it's a vaccine or whether it's a mask or whether there is a virus, whether there isn't, or whether you should start a business or whether you shouldn't, or, and people going, oh, I really can't afford that, or I really can't, yeah, you can. You absolutely can. But we have to look at why are we trusting people that are poisoning us? Why are we trusting the government that's allowing organizations like the World Health Organization or the food standards agencies? Why are we trusting these people when they're actually giving us rat poison and processed? It's not food. It's not food. It just looks like food.
Right.
Am I allowed to swear on the show?
I don't do any censorship.
Okay.
We have the objective of inspiring people, of educating people, and motivating people. But you're onto some excellent trends of thought, and I kind of want to hone in a little bit more on it.
Well, that's why I'm asking if I can swear, because my mum used to say to my brother, "You'd eat shit if it was sugared," because he would eat a lot of stuff and he would just eat so much rubbish. But that's what's happening. These food manufacturers are putting all of this crap and making it look like food, making it look appealing. We call it eye hunger, which I learned from one of my clients who does like breath work and food, etc. But what we're basically eating is a load of chemicals that are poisoning us, and it has all this sugar on. Sugar's more addictive than cocaine, right? Would parents give their children a line of cocaine for breakfast? Of course they wouldn't.
Right.
But they give them a bowl of Cheerios. Like, oh, what are you doing? You know, but people don't think.
How do we get away from the toxic influences in society? Is there any way to escape that matrix, so to speak?
Well, for me, I mean, this probably won't work for everybody, but for me, I haven't watched TV in a very long time. And you know, and if friends of mine say, Dawn, you really need to watch this TV program, I'm like, what?
Right.
But then if I get a second person tell me, Dawn, you really need to watch this TV program, I'm like, okay, these people are telling me I need to watch this program. Okay, now a second and a third person's told me. What do I trust about them? And I trust the people. We have to trust ourselves to trust the right people. But we have to, first of all, trust ourselves to trust ourselves. Okay, to make the right choices, to know that we can read, learn, and understand. We don't, because what we've got is a codependent society, whether it's codependency in a relationship, codependency on our parents, codependency on the state, codependency on TV, codependency on food to make ourselves feel better. The moment we start putting the right foods in our body and the right information in our head, then we start to clean our body, okay, from the inside and out. Our skin is our biggest organ. So we absorb all these toxins that are put in all of these shampoos, conditioners, body washes, etc., and all these washing powders. So we're poisoning ourselves on so many different levels. And the moment we stop doing that and make these small changes, then we can actually start listening to our intuition. Our intuition is so powerful, but we don't listen to it. When we listen to it, great things happen. When we go, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that anymore. I'm not going to listen to that story anymore. These people make me feel like, I call it the party test. If I invited you to my party and you responded with yes, how would I feel? Would I be excited that you were coming? And why would I be excited that you were coming? If I was like, oh God, they said yes. Okay, why are they in your space?
Right.
Get rid, cleanse, clean your space. People, food, possessions, get rid.
Is it possible that your consciousness is trying to communicate something with you and you've never heard it?
Oh, absolutely, all the time. Absolutely.
Is it possible? Is it possible that if people could just hear what their consciousness has been trying to tell them all along, that their life could change in an instant?
Instantaneously. Instantaneously.
So
people tell themselves they're not worth it, that they're not good enough. Yes, you are.
So what you're saying to me is that society has told us that we need to be educated 100%. We need to be influenced 100%. The looking glass self theory in sociology says that you are how other people look at you. And what you're saying to me today is that we need to begin to listen to our consciousness. We need to codepend on our subconscious so that our conscious can manifest our actual soul's intent. Is that correct?
Beautifully put. Just a man to bring it down to the nuts and bolts, and a woman to go blah 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 blah.
So it sounds like a lot of us, far too many of us, are not living life correctly. We don't have the proper order in place, and it sounds like the way that we are coerced into living today, it manifests in a two-dimensional reality, when what you really deeply desire is more like a three-dimensional and five-dimensional reality, where seven-dimensional, where your experience is so much more robust. And so we can't get the 5-dimensional lifestyle, the 7-dimensional lifestyle, when we have a 2-dimensional influence that's keeping us in the 2-dimensional state. Some people never even get into the 2-dimensional state. They just spend their entire lives lying down. And so what we're learning today is that the 5-dimensional life, and when I say 5-dimensional life, I mean that which you hear, see, touch, smell, taste can be 10 times better. It can all be 10 times better. The way that you look at the world, it can be 10 times better. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter how much money you have. And it does not matter where you live. Everybody has access to a supreme self-consciousness, a supreme voice inside of your head. It's just smarter than the people outside of you. That voice inside of your head, it's smarter. It's just wiser. It knows what to say to you when no one else knows what to say to you. It knows how to describe your dreams. It knows how to provide images that only you can manifest into the world. How many of us have images in our minds that we don't see it out there in the world, and we're the only ones who can manifest it out into the world? The future is in the minds of the people.
All three of them. All three brains. Because this thing, people don't even realize we've got 3 brains.
What are they?
They only think about the brains in your head. Well, you've got your brain in like the one that everyone else knows about. You've got your heart brain. And well, for women, we call it the pussy brain, but it's like the intuition, like that gut instinct. And this is the thing, is like when we tap into all 3 of them and they all align, but we feel energy. People have dismissed it because when we listen to ourselves and instead of listening to the authorities, they have no control over it. And the reason why they want control over us is because they're afraid of what happens when we rise up in our power, right? And this is the thing. I told you, Miss Mermaid, she goes deep. If you want to have this conversation, we will go there. Yeah, but that's the thing, a lot of people don't want to go there, because when they go there, it means that everything that they've been programmed to believe, they then have to go, well, actually, if I've been living my life like this all this time and I've been believing this all this time, that means that I believed a load of lies. No one wants to know that they've been lied to. No one wants to admit that they've been poisoning their own children. No one wants to believe that, they've been holding themselves back. I mean, I've been coaching people for 22 years, in various different aspects of life and business. It started out as business, and then it kind of developed the more I did my coaching. I know I don't look it, but anyway, and I don't look old enough to have been coaching people for 22 years. But this,
yeah, you do.
Thank you, right? And this is the thing. It's like you have this. People have, they're like, oh, you can't have been doing it that long. I'm like, why not?
Right.
It doesn't really matter what age you are.
That's right.
If you have got wisdom that you can teach somebody, it doesn't matter whether you are 14. It doesn't matter. My sons, my 2 boys, oh my gosh, the biggest teachers in my life. They hold me accountable. They make me want to be a better mother.
It's so powerful that you acknowledge the wisdom that children have.
Oh, children are our biggest game changers.
That's right. Human consciousness evolves. It evolves with each generation. And so we have to see our children as not only the future, but people whose minds are faster than yours, more sensitive than yours, more intuitive than yours, and their comments are going to be at God's speed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a day of reckoning today here on America's Next Motivator with Don Bates. And my grandmother used to have a saying. She said, if it doesn't come out in the wash, it'll be out in the rinse. In other words, here in this episode 160 something, we are revealing the fact that we've got to be accountable, that your whole system of belief might have been in error. if you are not at the center of that belief system, pouring out righteousness. We'll be right back with Don Bates after the brief message. Sit tight. America's Next Motivator, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Dawn, how you feeling out there?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm like, come on, let's go.
Let's go. Right back into it. You mentioned the sacral chakra before we went into the break. And I wanted to talk about chakras. What is the chakra system? And why do we need to know about it?
Well, it's part of us. Mm-hmm. Why would we not want to know about it, to be honest? I mean, I'm not a chakra expert. I don't profess to be. I'm open to anybody correcting me on anything that I say. But the thing is, they are energy centers, is how I like to think of them. And it's almost like electrical circuits. Mm-hmm. You have several of them, and if one of them is blocked, this can't work, or this doesn't work effectively. Like I had my youngest son flew home to the UK the weekend, my solar plexus, and I had an energy healing 2 nights ago because I knew that there was sadness there and it needed shifting. Okay.
Wow. Hold on. So you do something called energy healing?
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. I don't know how they do it. I just know that I feel great afterwards, and that it just shifts. It's like, again, like it's an electrical circuit system. You have this, you have these points, and I've got the boat in my head because, I sail around the boat, and I'm thinking about, I've got my electrics exam coming up shortly. Mm-hmm. And this is why I'm probably thinking of it as an electrical circuit. But so, for example, or like a plumbing system, if there is a blockage in your plumbing system or in your electrical circuit, like there's a fuse blown, it's not going to flow.
Right.
And you need to make sure that everything is flowing. So if, for example, you're brokenhearted or you're sad, then your solar plexus there's going to be a blockage there. If you're just in your head all the time and you're not allowing yourself to feel or tap into your intuition, then you're here, like you're rooted here, and so like your crown chakra is going to be doing all funky loads of stuff. Like, and if you're putting so much pressure on yourself and you think about your root chakra and you're not sitting properly and you're not opening up all of these channels, it's not flowing. And again, look at the vein system in your body. If people have heart attacks and like problems with their livers and kidneys because their systems are blocked. Mm-hmm. Wow. And we become ill because we don't look at what we're putting into our body and we don't move the energy through our body.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So the reason why I asked you about the chakra system is because what we're talking about throughout this episode boils down to the fact that we have an energy system that we need to maintain, that we need to service, and it starts with awareness. And the reality is that there's a lot of people who don't know about their chakra system. They don't know
Yeah.
about their energy systems. They don't know how to heal energy. And I think that there are consequences for not knowing that you have an energy system. And I think that we suffer consequences when we're not maintaining this energy system.
Mm.
We suffer all different types of consequences. It's like, where are these consequences coming from? Why do I feel this way? Why is my mind cloudy? Why am I not intuitive? Why am I not creative? And some people live their entire life that way
Mm.
without ever learning about the chakra system and connecting the dots that they have one too.
They don't learn about themselves.
That's right.
I mean, one of the things, I mean, again, a very controversial statement that I'm about to make here, but you know, that's who I am, apparently. I hear all these people going on about how much they believe in God, right? Mm-hmm. And how God is great and how they love him and all of this, but it's just rhetoric. Mm-hmm. They might believe in him. Okay, but let's put faith in action. Okay. God, if you believe in God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, if you believe in God, I mean, I've studied theology, you know, I've studied like all the holy books, and I love it. But God gave you this body, right? God gave us this planet. Mm-hmm. If we're not taking care of our bodies and we're not taking care of our planet, how are we respecting God? How are we worshiping God? We're not. We're saying, I don't care about what you've given me. I'm going to say I believe in you, but the body that you have given me to travel through this life in, I'm going to pollute it and I'm going to poison it and I'm going to abuse it because what you've given me, I do not value. Yet they will go to church and they will talk about scripture and they will talk, you know, like your heart, your body is a sacred gift. If you're not working out, if you're not putting the right fuel in, people take better care of their car than they take care of their body. Mm-hmm. They recharge their mobile phones more than they recharge their bodies and their minds and their soul.
That's right.
So I would like, and I've been up against rabbis, I've been up against imams and sheikhs and vicars and politicians. I have nailed them on Question Time on BBC, Question Time. You know, and because the thing is, people are just not understanding the bigger picture. And, you know, and I know that, you know, a friend of mine, Adam, when we were just doing a podcast, I mean, I've written a book about, it's called the Sacral Series, which mm-hmm. is all about the abuse that's going on within relationships, within families, within society, within the legal system and in the justice system. One of the books is actually called Social, which is all about, you know, abuse within the foster care and adoption system.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're real life stories that have been shared with me. But I've given each individual a different identity so that I can protect their identity. So I've given them a different ethnicity, and so I can address different issues that are happening around the world. And I've written 7 books. I've got another 12 coming out that I'm writing personally, totally, in the next 2 years, and I publish other people's work.
You're currently writing 12 books?
Yeah.
You're incredible. You're
you.
incredible. You are a world-class talent. And if we can, I want to change directions a little bit and explore your professional endeavors. So you became an author, and so far you've written 7 books. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's 7. Yeah,
okay.
7 that have been published.
Okay. The book that you wrote in regards to the abuses that happen in foster care, can you talk to us a little bit about that? What's the name of it?
That one's not. That's part of the Sacral Series. I've already written Moana and Layla. Pandora comes out next month, and then you've got Alpha, then Faith, and then Social. So Social is 3 books away, so that will be out in 9 months' time.
Okay. Are you able to give us a little bit of insight of what the book's about?
That one is about how there was a guy that I met who came across what I was going through with the Scotland system, Scotland saga, I call it, because a couple of years ago I was arrested. Well, 5 years 5 years ago, I was arrested by Scotland police. And then I was like, oh, you messed with the wrong mama bear this time. You really did mess with me, the wrong woman. And basically, when I was talking to him, we were learning about stuff, and he started telling me his story. He was actually studying for his PhD in social care system. And what he found was that one of the and he was looking at the patterns that are happening in the social care system within the Commonwealth. And when I say Commonwealth, I'm talking about Australia, New Zealand, England, Canada, all of the countries within the Commonwealth, and what are the differences and how we can improve the social system for those that enter into it either as a child or as a caring parent. And what he noticed were there are certain families that would have children of a certain age, and the children that went in were very different to when they came out.
That's right.
You have parents going in that are only doing it for the money. They're not doing it because they want to build the children up. They're not doing it because they want to love these children. They're not doing it because they want to help these children. They're doing it for financial gain. And they're also, and he was looking at the social care system of how they'll just take any child rather than look at what's the environment they're putting this child in. But when you look at 8 children going missing every single day in the UK alone, 8 children a day get taken off their parents and go missing every day in the UK. There are not that many bad parents. That is sinister. But what he was looking at is how these, like looking at these patterns, but then looking at how, okay, well, who placed them? Okay, what were the families? What happened to the children that were placed by other families, that were placed in other families by this person? And then he noticed a pattern. And then you start to notice, so it actually talks about what actually happened and what he discovered by investigating that kind of pattern of behavior. But then as the series goes on, so for example, then you move on to Guard, which is about what's happening within the prison system. And looking at the people that go into prison, these are the people that really need our help. These are the people that will probably come from the social system and have been abused in one way or another, either by teachers, and I'm not just talking sexual abuse or physical abuse, I'm talking about emotional and mental abuse.
Right.
You know, and looking at how we can support them. And there's a really amazing project called Step Inside the Circle that an amazing woman, Fritzi Horseman, is working on. She is incredible. She's helping me to, she's writing the foreword for the book Guard. But again, the books that I write, a friend of mine calls them a kick to the kidneys, Christopher. He's in New York, actually. He's got a podcast called From Where I Sit. And we were talking, he goes, Dawn, you're like a kick to the kidneys. He goes, you will talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. You will address the things that people don't want to address and are too afraid to say. And this is the thing, we have been controlled by so many aspects of society that our parents have had to silence us because they don't want to be embarrassed. Our teachers haven't got the capacity to think because they're being bullied by the education system, who are being bullied by the leaders in government. But who is it who is the puppeteers of the political leaders or the so-called leaders?
You know, what I look at is how many people along the way, whether it be in the social system, the foster care system, the prison system, all these different people interacting with one another and interacting with children who are not doing the real spiritual work of being a bona fide human. So many of these people,
capacity, a lot of them.
Well, yeah, even with them not having the capacity, the fact is they are folks who have a lot of spiritual work that they need to do that they've never done, and now they're responsible for other people's lives. And so we live in a very potentially dangerous world with different societies where people are not doing this spiritual work. Like I said, the chakra system, while it might sound like something euphoric or mystical, is a very real part of our ability to be a good person. How can you be a good person when you've not done the spiritual work of dealing with your trauma, of making sure that your circuit system is free and open and healthy. How can you have a healthy impact on me when your circuit system is unhealthy? Does that make sense?
It does, but it's been engineered that way.
Yeah.
This is the thing we have to, this is why I mentioned the capacity. People are just in this, they're in this space where, you know, they are just trying their best to survive because they're being pushed and prodded from every which way, you know, whether it's, you know, an analogy I used on another podcast recently was, you know, we have to look at how society has been engineered over the last 100 years. You know, from the Industrial Revolution and from the schooling system and education, we have been programmed to follow rules. We have been programmed to follow a certain set of systems.
That's right.
Okay, we are exhausted. The government are taxing the employers, they're taxing the individuals, they're taking, you know, so much money from both that people are working all these extra hours just to survive. So the fact that they're in that and they're like, I don't even know where my next paycheck is coming from, or I don't even know, they haven't got time. A lot of them think, I haven't got time to look at the sacred series. I haven't got time to look at the chakra system. I haven't even got time to read a book or, you know, to think properly about the food I'm putting in my body. And it's been engineered that way.
Right. Right.
So that the government can control us.
Do you think that we can ever get back to a place where I value you more than I value money?
I think that a lot of people misunderstand money. I do believe that people misunderstand money and the beautiful energy that money is. People have been programmed to believe that money is evil and that people who value money are shallow. And I think that once people start to look at the beauty of it, because I know that so for example, there was an experiment done in a newspaper, okay, but it's how people, they don't understand the value of themselves, which is why they don't understand the value of money. Okay, and the two are very, very linked. The two are, I love playing with money. I love, because it's a beautiful energy. I know that if I want to give a lot of stuff to a lot of people and I want to make a difference in this world, okay, then I have to look at what is my time, what is my capacity, how can I be the very best version of myself? What is the food that is going to nourish me? What is the knowledge I need to gain? What are the experiences I need to gain for me to be the very best version of myself? What is the value that I need to put on that? What is a lifestyle I want to live? What is the value of that? Why do I want to live that lifestyle? When I step into that, I go, okay, well, that's actually going to require this much money. You know, it's like when people go, oh, I really want the latest Samsung or iPhone or whatever they are. People will do whatever it takes to get that new iPhone or that new pair of trainers or that new, whatever it is, that new car, that new holiday, and they will make sure that they're in debt, or they will get the latest laptop, which costs $1,000. Imagine you got like a laptop that did everything but wasn't all singing or dancing, and it cost you half. You could actually invest the other half into your knowledge so you learn more. People don't know how to value themselves. Look at women. You know, I have the phrase that, you know, women need to start owning their ovaries. You know, people say grow a pair. I'm like, I've already got a pair. Mine are called ovaries though. You know, women are capable of growing a human baby, in a human person, a human inside of them. And then we can give birth, and then we have the capacity to keep that child alive for as long as we breastfeed them. But women don't believe in their own value. Women don't believe in their own power because they've been oppressed for so long, but they've allowed themselves to be oppressed. And then they go on this gender equality thing. It's like, no, don't blame the men. Don't blame the men. Blame yourself for not valuing yourself enough.
This is huge. This is absolutely huge. And this is a moment where you connect and resonate with so many people. when you connect the dot between me or the human and the money, there's a connection between people and money. And there's a word out there. The word is currency. When I think of currency, I think of electricity. I think of power. And so what you said, which I thought was absolutely magical, is that you can do wonderful things with money.
Mm,
Money is an assister for the life that you want to build. But your relationship with money is amplified when you have a positive relationship with yourself. And
mm,
so making sure that just like you want the currency that is the dollar, make sure that your currency, which is your life force energy, is in its optimal space so that you're not putting yourself in debt and making yourself more unhealthy because of what you're doing with your money. And so that's a great connection right there. Working on your energy, your life force energy, cleaning it, healing it, amplifying it, growing it, loving it, cherishing it, respecting it will allow you to not only get a lot more money, but to do better things with your money. I thought that was a great connection.
well, I don't thank you. Because I mean, I look at it this way. If we just change the word money, okay, to say your partner,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk bad about your partner and you say my partner is the root of all evil, I don't care about my partner, I don't care, it's this,
Mm-hmm.
it's that, and all the things you say about money, if you said that about your partner, would you still have a partner? Would you be in a healthy relationship with your partner? Of course you wouldn't.
That's right.
If you change the word money to myself, I am the root of all evil, I don't value myself, um, and everything else that, money is evil, money is this, money, like, if you were to turn that on yourself, you wouldn't have a very good relationship with yourself. So all
Right.
these people that are talking negatively about money, I mean, okay, probably again, pretty controversial. Let's look at Trump. Okay. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't like him, but look at what his wealth has done. I mean, it's irrelevant whether I like him or not. I don't know the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't trust a lot of things that's put out there in the media because I've been in the media for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but whether we like him or not, the money he has used and gained in his business has enabled him to buy hospital equipment. It has given people jobs. It has given people security. It has educated people so they can educate their families. They can put them through, they can have a better quality of life. Okay, not everybody. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't. But money doesn't make somebody evil. Money doesn't make somebody egotistical. Money doesn't make people bad.
Mm-hmm.
Money is just simply an amplifier of who you already are.
That's right. That's right. What I wanted to hone in on was the fact that we live in a world where we certainly value money, but we don't also value one another. And that part about not valuing one another is the part that we need to change. We have to get to a place in the world where we value one another. And based off of the dots that you helped us connect just now, once we begin to value ourselves and then value one another, then I think we'll all have a life and a community of more abundance. And so
Absolutely.
that is the point that we are driving home today. And as we round third base here, I just got a few questions for you. The first, what? Oh yeah, I'm going to deviate today because I think you're so you're unorthodox a little bit. Who are you? Who are some people? Who are some people that you feel we could go out there and listen to? Who do you listen to? What podcast or personalities do you listen to out there?
um, God, anyone would think that there's a guy called Adam that he's also the co-host of my podcast series, the Sacral Series podcast series.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, with each book in the Sacral Series is a podcast that goes with it. And I was listening to this guy, Adam, who has the podcast, the Mental Mastery Alliance. I don't always agree with him, but he has like his podcast is, he has some incredible guests on there, and he goes off on these, like, some would say he goes off on these monologues, but he's really good.
Okay.
There's a guy called Patrick Cook. He's out there as well. He's got a podcast called Being. I would definitely listen. And Christine McKay, I don't know if you've heard of Christine McKay from Venn Negotiation.
We've heard of Christine. We love you, Christine. She was here.
We love
She
you,
was on America's Next
Christine.
Motivator. Yeah. We love you, Christine McKay. Yeah.
She's I love her. I think she's ace. The way they're my top three at the moment. At the moment, guys, don't get complacent. You might not be next week.
All right. Now we've got about 20 seconds left, and I got 3 questions for you. The first, 20 seconds. What is survival to you?
Survival. I don't survive, I thrive.
What is success to you?
Being happy.
And what is greatness to you?
Being the best version of self.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, get your crown emojis into the chat. Put your crown emojis into the chat.
Oh, do I get crowns?
Oh yeah. We are.
I got two.
we are letting you know that we've heard your story today. I love your thought processes, the way that you evaluate the world and how you add value to the world consistently. I think it's great. We are giving you your respect today. We're giving you your respect, and we're giving you your crown today while you're still alive to receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. We're giving you your crown today. We are letting the world know, letting you know that you, Dawn Bates, you are America's next motivator.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
And thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.